What's the fastest way for me to lose weight? I will follow your directions completely, no compromises. That's the questions that was asked the other day by one of my clients. And my answer was, I will tell you exactly what the secret is to the quick weight loss if you promise that that quickness is going to lead into a longer term success. So we had like a transitional period. So stay very disciplined, and I would suggest that we go and we can do it for 8 weeks, but then we transition into more sustainable program. If you follow this 8-week program, that will allow you to lose up to 20 pounds of fat. You will rely very heavily on timing of your meals, on proper macronutrients, and of course exercise. And not only you're going to lose weight, but you're also going to become a lot healthier. Because we've got to understand that body fat is not simply visually not pleasing, but body fat is a symptom of something wrong going on in your body. When we start our lives and we go through adolescence and teenage years, naturally, on the average, a woman would be 20% body fat. Same woman, same lifestyle, same exercise program. At the age of 30, she's going to be 25%. And every decade after, she will going to gain about 5 percentage points as far as body fat. When we reach 60 years old, the same woman weighing exactly the same will have twice as much body fat on her as when she was 20. So the normal aging process, you can correlate very closely to amount of body fat that you have. And with it, increased chances of stroke, heart disease, cancer, any inflammation in your body, or simply chances of a lower back pain, shoulder pain will increase proportionate to the amount of body fat. So once we have this established, that body fat is what we're fighting, what's the quickest way to get rid of it? As I said earlier, every decade, on the average, if even our lifestyle is the same, we're going to gain maybe 5-6 pounds through natural processes, 5 to 10 pounds naturally. So for us to take all that weight off in a couple of days is of course impossible. But if you do everything right, you may have a chance to take up to 20 pounds of fat in 8 weeks. And fat, there may be some water with it, the initial 4 or 5 pounds. If you're a woman, smaller structure, that number may be 12 to 15 pounds. And here is the way that I like to present this to my client. There are 3 things that I'm going to insist. Number 1, having your food, the macronutrients in proper ratios. Proper ratios, there are 3 macronutrients. It's protein, fat, and carbohydrates. During the process of this 8 weeks of very intense and disciplined eating, I would want your proteins and fats to combine to about 80%. 50% fat, 30% protein. I think those are the numbers that will be probably the most accurate and most achievable. No more than 20% carbohydrates, or possibly on certain days, maybe even less. So number 1, macronutrients. Protein, fat combined 80%, carbohydrates no more than 20%. And the carbohydrates should come from vegetables and not soft drinks or cookies or ice cream. Now, the next thing is to understand that we can lower even further our response to sugar by doing 3 things. During the meals that we're going to have some carbohydrates with it, eat your carbohydrates last. So no bread before dinner. Avoid pretzels or any kind of a snack that will spike your sugar, increase your insulin, and contribute to this metabolic nightmare that you complain about the first place. So keep the carbohydrates to the minimum, eat them last in your meal. Number 2, after your meal, dinner, go for a slow, if possible, walk. And that could be a very, very slow, up to maybe 1.5 mile, 2 mile pace, which is very pleasant. What we know from research that if you walk after your meal, not too fast, but at a moderate pace, you're going to reduce your carbohydrate by half or insulin, how it responds to carbohydrate by half. Very important. And number three, make sure that the carbohydrates are consumed earlier in the day so your body has a chance during the day to metabolize. So that would be our first point, macronutrients. Second, intermittent fasting. It is a tool which we're going to use during our 8-week program for two reasons. Number one, it will help us fight and restore our insulin level and its relations with insulin. Insulin is the hormone that actually puts on body fat. Any excess calories, and especially when your sugar or blood glucose is high and your insulin is high, most likely you're going to be in the body fat forming stage, or as opposed to when your insulin is down, you're going to be releasing the fat from your cells. So second very important point, we're going to fast and we're going to create windows during the day where we can eat our calories, whether it's 2 meals, 1 or 3 meals, will be up to you. But the absolutely ultimate way that I would advise you to do is to have a window of no more than 6 hours. So if you start at noon, you skip breakfast, you start at noon, have your last meal at 6, go for a walk at 6, keep your macronutrients like we stated earlier. That would be our second very important point. Now, I would also want you to do is that it'll be very difficult to maintain the windows because we know that we are human and we do err occasionally. So I would use the formula which I call a traffic light system. A traffic light simply means that we have green days where we are perfect as far as our exercise, our diet, our eating window, or when we, for example, don't exercise or we didn't keep our window quite as much as we wanted to, or if we actually had a little bit more carbohydrates than normal, that would be an orange day. And then a red day that we simply forget about dieting at all, totally focus on something else, let our mind decompress. So in your initial, this hardcore program of 8 weeks, where you're going to lose 20 pounds of fat, you will have at least 3 green days during the week. That means exercise properly, having window of 6 hours, and having the macronutrients that we discussed earlier. Now, you can have the other days that you can be a bit more moderate, but if you sense that your body is not responding properly, and what I mean by that is we're going to check our weight daily. If your weight is stabilizing and not dropping at the 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds a week, then we have to go to, instead of 6 hours, to 4 hours. And we may actually decrease our calorie consumption as well, because we do want to restore that point at 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week. So number one, macronutrients. Number two, intermittent fasting. Now, additional advantage of intermittent fasting is that after you don't eat for 16 hours, your body's going to be targeting cells which are inflamed, cells that are damaged or even cancerous. Initially, that was my main goal, to encourage people to fast so they can have health benefit and are able to deal with inflammation, chances of cancer being less, or even staying out of pain. But with that, I've noticed that not only your joints were less painful, but also overall colds and flus magically were decreased also comparing to the rest of the people. So there, I would encourage that intermittent fasting would be a big part of your fitness, but also of your health regimen. And the third part of the equation is exercise. And I want you to be very careful. Exercise doesn't have to be intense, and very often when I talk to very motivated people, they tend to overdo it and they stress out the body more. They may lose more calories, but they are not able to sustain this program for a few weeks at a time. They're getting frustrated, injured. So my advice is to use exercise in moderation. More is not better. And what I mean by that, when you are 20 years old, your body can recover much quicker than if you're older. So as you grow older, be very aware of your immune system. If you don't sleep well, if you don't eat well, probably heavy exercise sessions maybe make you more vulnerable. So you have to take it easy. So rest, relaxation, very important. 30 minutes of exercise, strengthening, balancing is the limit. that I would do a day. You can also walk for additional 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I definitely aerobics going to 80 or 90% of your heart rate, I would strongly discourage, because it damages your joints when you're older. And also it is not good for your skin because it makes your skin a little bit saggier. And again, and most importantly, it stresses your body. And that is not the primary exercise stimulant that will actually lose fat. Strength exercises, creating lean body mass, that's what burns calories, and that's what we want to promote. So 30 minutes of strength exercises is the most beneficial because we get the benefits for 24 hours afterwards. Throughout the day, our bodies will burn more calories. So if you are able to manage and balance those three things, I've seen it over and over again. 20-pound losses in 8 weeks. It's very manageable. At the end of the journey, you'll feel fantastic and you're going to be, most of all, healthier, and looking better simply is going to be a symptom of this health that will radiate from you. In the next video, we'll discuss spot reducing. If you have trouble areas and you want to concentrate on those, is there anything I can do? I will give you the answers and I will see you then.